A of n stands for an arithmetic sequence. The little n just means like some number. N is a term number. Arithmetic sequence. When you see this, which is why it's an A. A1 right here. This stands for the first term. So in sequences, you have usually a list of terms. That's the first one. D stands for the common difference. We talked about this on Friday, so what it's adding or subtracting. And then n minus 1. So this whole thing is the previous term number. Sorry, you can't see that at all. I'm going to fix that. Last thing, this n right here, this little n is the term number. Okay, so you have n, which is a term number you want. N minus 1 means one less than that. Here's what this equation is saying. To find some number of the sequence, to find like the 100th term, take the first term, add on the common difference times however many, but one less. We're going to do an example, and it hopefully will make more sense. We're using this equation. Write an equation for the nth term. That's the first part of this problem. The second part of this problem is to find a 50. I have to see both. Students in my third hour are trying to just find the 50th term, like, I did it. But you missed the very first part, which is to write the equation. So make sure you do that. Okay, your sequence, 14, 11, 8, 5. Don't overthink this. What's the first term? It's 14. Y'all are brilliant. This is A1. Whoop. So the first term is 14. Yeah. That's why it's got a little 1, first term of the arithmetic sequence. It is subtracting by what? 3. So the common difference is minus 3 every time. That's D. First thing, write the equation. So we're going to use this equation we just wrote down to find any number n. You take the first term, which is 14, and you add n minus 1 times the common difference, which is negative 3. Here's the thing. This doesn't look very pretty, so we usually want to put a number we're multiplying in front. So final answer for the equation would be to find the nth term, take the first term and add negative 3 one less time than you would think that you would. You got to have this. If I ask for the equation, this is what I want. So this is important. I'll box it. There's your equation. Now we're going to find the 50th term. So we are going to evaluate it for 50. Instead of writing this sequence out 50 times, which would be really obnoxious, you can use this equation. Take the first term and subtract 3 49 times. Since you already have the first term, we want to do it one less. So if you simplify that, here's what it says. To get 50, the 50th number, take the first number and subtract 3 49 times. But instead of actually doing that, you can just type this into your calculator. 14 plus negative 3 times 49. And you should know what the 50th term is. Type it in, please. If you don't have a calculator, go get one. So the 50th term, if you were to keep this sequence going, is, so here's your second part that's important. The 50th term is negative 133. That's the second answer I need. So what's the equation and what's the term I'm asking you to find? Each part of these questions have two parts. Equation, term number. First term is 8. This is A1. Whoop. It is adding by 8. So the common difference is 8. You need that. Okay, we're using the equation in the box. AN equals, what's A1? What's the first term? 8. Take 8 and add n minus 1 times, what's the common difference? 8. Okay, but this looks ugly, and so you want to put the 8 in front. I don't know why they put it afterwards, but I'm going to do what they said in the EOC, and then we'll rewrite. So here's your answer for the equation. Take the first term, add 8 n minus 1 times. You got to have this part for me. So when I ask you for the equation, I need to see a and then little n. Leave the n in the equation. Now, evaluate for, find the 25th term. So your n value is going to be 25. 8 plus 8. I'm not going to multiply it. I'm not going to add it 25 times. How many times? 24, because it's 25 minus 1. 1 less. So if you can do it without doing 25 minus 1, you're just doing 1 less than what we said, since you already have the first term. The 25th term is 200. I should see that answer. There's two parts. Equation, what is it? A lot of this is the same, right? So this is not arithmetic. This stands for a geometric sequence, because it's G. G1 is the first term. R, we talked about Friday, common ratio, what it multiplies by. And then just like before, this n minus 1 and n stands for whatever term number you want. N minus 1, one less than what you want. That's another way to think of it. So it's not A1 this time, it's G1. The first term of the geometric sequence is 2. Daniel, what's it multiplying by?
6.
Yep. So that's your common ratio, is 6. Just to remind you, if it's dividing, that would be multiplying. You have to figure out what fraction it's multiplying by. Okay. To find any number n, you take the first term, 2. That goes first, and then you multiply it by 6. N minus 1 times. Okay, that's done. You got to have that. What's the equation? Now I'm asking you to find the 10th term. So what do I put for n? 10. So take the first term, multiply by 6, 9 times, since you already have the first term. 9 more times is what it's saying. So you will evaluate this in your calculator. 2, the first term, times 6 raised to the 9th, since you want the 10th term. You get a really big number, 20,155,392. This is your 10th term. Catherine, what's my first term? My first term is 1. That's G1. It is multiplying not by half. It's multiplying by -5. So your common ratio is -5. To write your equation, literally just follow what's in the box. Sorry. G with little n is equal to the first term, 1, times -5 raised to the n minus 1. That's your equation. You have to have that part. I think on this one I'm still asking you to find the 10th term, so plug 10 in for n. 1 times -5, not 10 times, 1 less than that, 9, because you already have the first term. When you type this in your calculator, you have to put -5 in parentheses or you won't get the right answer. This part matters. We should have the 10th term is -1,953,125. This is the second part you have to have. So on each one of these questions, what's the equation? And then tell me whatever term I'm asking for.